First of all, who here has Ableton Suite, the Suite version of Ableton? Okay, amazing. I think that's everyone. So you guys already have Max. So we're going to talk about Max. Let me just do a short introduction before we actually start talking about some devices. Now, because Max is a built-in programming language, essentially, it's a programming environment that people, including us, can build our own devices. It's endless. Okay, it's endless, and every day there's new devices, instruments and effects and MIDI effects, and we'll see some video stuff. Every day there's stuff getting released. So we'll try to cover as much as possible today. I did make you a PDF I will share. You'll see there's a lot. And this is just the free ones. I'm not going to even mention paid ones today, which are amazing. So it's quite endless. Obviously, we won't have time to go over everything. But just so you know, there's an endless world out there of tools. If you find something in Ableton that is missing, a feature or something that you would like to see, I would recommend checking the Max for Live world. There might be a solution already out there. And also, if anyone is already a programmer or a developer and want to get into that world, these days it's available also kind of a side hustle path to make some extra money if you guys build devices and sell them, okay? But that's not conversation for today. That's actually programming. But let's do a short introduction into Max and Max for Live. So Max is actually came before Ableton Live back in the 80s. It was developed as a visual programming language for artists, MIDI artists, installations, MIDI artists, all of those. And when I say visual programming, which is awesome for us, we don't actually have to write code. We just take, this is a very early version of Max. We take objects and we connect them with wires. Now it went through different renditions. This is version 5, which already started looking a bit much better than the earlier versions, all the way to version 9, which we're in today, and it looks much more modern and can do amazing stuff. It started off just as a MIDI, just talking MIDI and doing a bunch of MIDI stuff. Then, if you ever heard Max MSP, MSP is the audio side of Max, was introduced late 90s or early 2000s. And then also Jitter. We can also do video stuff, live video, audio-reactive video, MIDI-reactive video, a lot of cool stuff. That's the Jitter side of Max. In 2009, Cycling 74, that's the company that makes Max. It used to be based in San Francisco. Now they're just, after pandemic, Ableton and Cycling 74 are all just scattered around the world in their houses. Even here, there's offices, Ableton offices is on the other side of the building. Before the pandemic, it was full. Here was the tech support, there was all the administration. Now barely anyone here. The only place maybe in Germany they have their main headquarters. There's still some people there, but most of Ableton as a company is scattered around the world. Anyway, it's not here or there. So Max, in 2009, Cycling 74 collaborated with Ableton, and we were able to use Max for Live, which is Max inside Ableton Live, which was amazing. Later on, I think 2013, Ableton bought the company. They acquired Cycling 74, and now it's built in, and it's kind of a daughter company inside Ableton, so they're working together. Fun fact, Max or Ableton was conceptualized in Max, okay? This is a very early on Ableton, back I think late 90s, from a duo called Monolake. And Monolake is Gerard and Robert Henke, thank you, who are two of the founders of Ableton. They had this duo, and they needed some stuff, so they built their own in Max. And there's a lot of other artists who used Max, like Utekere, which are probably the most famous who use Max, but other PXStream used it, and a lot of other people. And it also influenced a lot of other visual programming environments, maybe you know, like Reactor, and these days we have the pure plug data. Pure data, it's kind of like an offshoot of Max, which is open source. A lot of other visual environments, including that the visual one called, not visual, what's it called? The visual one for all the visuals, I'll remember it later. There's another visual programming, okay? Nice, so from the early versions of Ableton, kind of Max into Ableton, and then later acquired Max, it's kind of like a full circle. Now, if you go on the Ableton website and you go under packs, you can go under the Max for Live category, and you'll find a lot of Max for Live official factory Max for Live tools and instruments that you can download by just having Ableton Suite. You don't even have to go on the website. You can go right here in Ableton under packs, scroll down, you'll find available packs. It should be online. Available packs, and you can download a lot of them. For example, I'll mention a few of them, but let's just actually look at the list. We'll see how much we actually see today, because I just want to mention stuff. I will share the PDF with you, but if you guys see or hear anything that sounds interesting, that might benefit your music production, I would recommend writing it down, and you can already download it right away and start using it. So a couple of new additions from recent year or two is the Expressive Chords. I don't know if you guys are already using Expressive Chords, but absolutely amazing. We already had a MIDI effect chord, which now is updated with Ableton 12 that can do kind of all the scale mode and stuff. But Expressive Chords essentially gives us kind of a collection of chords that we can launch with just one note. So you just play one note. Let me turn on the MIDI here. Okay. And I'm just launching one note. And there's a lot of different presets, and now with the new 12.3 upcoming, it's going to be updated. We'll be able to make our own chord sets very easily. So, and you can strum here, there's different articulations, MPE if you're using the push, there's an interface on the push that kind of takes over and expand the capabilities of the push. Absolutely amazing. One of my favorite new devices that Ableton added, which is a super cool Expressive Chords. In the PDF, I gave you a bunch of tutorials. I have a lot of content online, both on my socials and YouTube. Some of them are official, sponsored by Ableton. Some of them are just my stuff. So if you want to check out some things, you can just click on the links next to them, okay? There's another new pack that I highly recommend checking out, and they just updated it, called Sequencers. What's the Sequencers? Sequencers. And it comes with 3 sequencers. All of them are super awesome. I have tutorials on them online. Maybe I'll just show you one. For example, the SQ sequencer, which, by the way, can go hand in hand with Expressive Chords if you want to start sequencing some chords. I have a tutorial here about sequencing house chords, exactly that, combining the two. So 3 sequencers, and these sequencers usually don't need a clip. They don't need a MIDI clip or anything. You just hit spacebar, and they'll start playing. And because they're MIDI sequencers, obviously they need some sort of an instrument after. So maybe I heard a lot of kind of bass music, breakbeats stuff today, so maybe we'll stick with that. What was it called, that thing? I forget. No acid. 303. I think it's this one. Just an instrument here. If I open it up, you'll see it's quite complex, but thankfully we could just have this one macro, a beauty of racks. So this one you just play. Okay. And what's nice about this, very quickly you can come up with musical ideas. First I can choose a scale or put it in scale mode. So maybe we'll go like E. Let's do minor blues. Okay, so now it locks to that. I can go here and change octaves for each step. I can randomize. Okay, and I can randomize the pitch also. Let's take everything octave low. Okay, very quickly you can come up with musical ideas. And just before I move on, I just want to mention that when using MIDI sequencers, whatever it is, Expressive Chords, even the built-in MIDI effects that we already had in Ableton, everything is changing the MIDI. Just like audio effects changing the audio, MIDI effects are changing the MIDI. If you want to capture what the MIDI effects are doing, the sequencers and all of those, you can just create a new MIDI track and set the MIDI from that track with the MIDI effects and just record what the MIDI is doing. Okay, so just know that if you're using MIDI stuff, you can capture that. You don't have to just not use clips. You can record that MIDI to a new track. Okay, and there's also two other sequencers in that pack that are amazing. I would highly recommend checking them out. Sequencers in general, we'll check a few later when we talk about third parties. They're quite endless, and they're a really great way to take away from just punching in notes with a keyboard and mouse or playing with your MIDI controllers, but actually using some knobs, some buttons, some other ways of expression and sequencing or creating new materials, okay, new music materials. I will keep my focus today on devices, okay, separate devices. I just want to mention, since Ableton Live 12, we have a new form of Max for Live, which is MIDI tools. I'll let Orville cover that later, but MIDI tools you can also find. There's ones that come with Ableton, and there's a lot of third-party ones that are absolutely insane. There's crazy stuff. There's ridiculous stuff even, to the point where I can even, you see here, I can paint. But I'll let Orville cover that, because that's a whole new section of Ableton, but some of them will also be considered sequencers, okay? Which are just an amazing, different way of coming up with ideas. Let me mention a few more. Performance Pack. This is from a developer who is not working for Ableton, Iftach Gabay, but he's in charge of a lot of things that we are already kind of almost built in Ableton, like microtuner, CV tools, and the Performance Pack, which was released recently. And the Performance Pack comes with a bunch of tools, and I'll just mention them by name. We can maybe check a short video. Where's the Performance Pack? Because there's so much to cover and mention, we don't have that much time today. So Performance Pack comes with 4 tools. I will mention variation is cool, where you can essentially just capture everything in your project and then go and change stuff, capture it again, and then you kind of have a save state of your project, really great for big live performances and stuff like that. Another one is a Performer, which allows, I'm not going to demonstrate right now, I have a video that I made for Ableton officially demonstrating this, but not Performer, I'm sorry, Prearranger, I'll talk about Performer. This allows for hands-free live looping, if anyone does live looping. I don't know if you could, but it allows for hands-free live looping, meaning I'm already setting up my live looping. Let's say I'm playing guitar for 2 bars, I'm going to play the drums for 2 bars, I'm going to play some bass, synths. It's already predetermined, I don't have to do anything. It's already setting up my performance prearranger, which is great. And Performer allows you to build your own custom interfaces that you can do kind of your own control system, okay? And you can do a lot of stuff with it. For example, I'll just show, it's quite endless. And the idea today is to show you the infinite potential of Max for Live. It's not about just one device. Of course, if there's one device that you like, write it down. But it's the infinite potential of the endless stuff that you can do with it. I'll give you one, for example, one trick, and this is one of endless. You can take a fader, and you can play beats on a fader. I don't know if you guys saw that. Hermit Lobby was the first one. Maybe I can see that. Okay, so that's with the Performer that we just saw. And I'll show you a few other small examples like that. Nice. Now, one that I want to highlight, because they're official and they're actually made by one of Ableton's founders, is maybe you guys already start using them, is the Granulator 3. Okay, absolutely insane, super powerful. Essentially, it's a sampler. Let me find a sample here for a second. Let me just, I'm just going to search for a chord progression. Give me a chord progression. Let's say this. It's cool if you take something with vocals, but I'm going to drop it here. It's a sampler, but the idea is that it's micro-looping a section of the sample. So now I'm just going to hold a note here. And again, it's kind of like a sampler, so I can play it melodically. Okay? But then I have this position knob that I can change where I'm micro-looping in the sample. Okay? So then, and although there's a way to turn it into, I gave you a link for a free rack that turns it into a slicing granular sampler, But the idea is that maybe we can do something like this now. I can just hold one note. Let's turn off the scale here. One note. Let's make it legato, stretch it all the way. Right? And then I can just make my progressions by automating. Maybe I'll just start it. So I'm automating the position. Right? And let's loop that. And we can even maybe make it a tiny bit glide into the next position. Maybe sound like this. And it's quite endless because now I can take another loop. Let me find something here. Probably not, but maybe. So here I need to find a new position. I would not move my mouse on the line. I would move my mouse close to the line. Okay, I'm going to highlight this, move my mouse close so I can move the entire line. We could probably find something better. Absolutely beautiful. I love the stuff that you can come up with this very quickly. I would recommend taking full sounds, although even just one note, you can create some very interesting timbres, but taking a full progression and looping that, making a progression like that, and something with vocals also, it's amazing. And I know you know the sound, this granular sound. What?
The clouds mode is one of my favorites too.
The clouds mode, yeah, absolutely. So here we can also change the mode, which will have a lot more playback points. And if you click on the grain size, you see the density, we can have up to 20. And there's other granular samplers out there, some of them are free. It's just a very trendy sound in the last 10 years or so. And it's beautiful. We love it. I love it so much. So consider that. And you don't have to, of course, have to take ready-made loops like I did. You can make your own loop, sample it, put it in a granulator, and it's absolutely amazing. Okay? Now there's another device. You have a question?
I just want to get
The clouds? It's going to be a bit more ambient. And here also I can play around with the grains. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this. What I like to do personally is I already have a preset for it, but where is it? Granular slicing. So here, it's free on the website, so you can just download this. But you just drop this, and you don't have to do automation. It's kind of like a slicing sampler now. I just hit different notes. So you don't have to mess around with the automation, although there's a lot of happy accidents that can happen with the automation.
With the granulator, when you play notes up higher, you know how to speed up the...
Oh, okay, so yes.
Is there a way to make it so it's fixed?
So yes, that's exactly what I did here. So to turn it into a granular, and I have a tutorial just about this. To turn it into a granular slicer, you click on the transposition. Like you mentioned, by default, if I play different notes, let me cancel that. This is the default. If I play different notes, it's melodic sampler like a regular sampler. We play it higher, it plays faster. We play it lower, it loops slower. If I go to the transpose knob, whenever you click on a knob, you will see right here, this row is the modulation row. All the different stuff that can change that specific knob. If I click on the transpose, by default, the key tracking, the default, is 100, it's full. I'm going to take it down to 0. Now it won't change the pitch as I press different notes. And then I go to the position, and by default it's 0. I add key track, that's what I did. That's essentially how you turn it into a slicing. You add key tracking, meaning it's going to change the position with every different note. And now it's just slicing. Absolutely beautiful. Let's do something here. We're going to create, what are we, 125. Let's do 8 bars here. Create a clip here. We're going to add just random notes here. I think those click is from the OTT, so we don't need that right now. let's just add some raw, and I'm going to put it on serial. We'll just boost it. Okay, and let's just add, before we add drums, I want to show you one more effect. Granulator 3, highly recommend checking it out and playing around with it. You can very quickly come up with very unique, awesome stuff and very trendy stuff. It's just a trendy sound, this micro looping. Now we also have another granular buffered delay that is a Max for Light device that is built by the same person, one of the founders of Ableton. And that one is called, you know what I'm talking, Pitch Loop 89. Pitch Loop 89, it's super cool. It's an audio effect. Okay, it's an audio effect, but let me show you what it does. Let's fold this so we can focus on that. So this is a delay. Maybe I'm thinking about doing something else. Let's put it on an audio track. And let's I'm going to load just a guitar plugin, just so the notes are a bit more plucky. So I'm going to put it on a MIDI track. Oh, no, I didn't. I put all my guitar stuff on an external hard drive, all the samples. So we're just going to use Wavetable. I'm going to load this audio effect on. Okay, and we're going to make a very plucky sound. Let's turn this off for now. Okay, nice. Pitch Loop 89, another highly recommend to check this out. It's free. You just download it, and you have this awesome effect. This is essentially a delay. So when I turn it on, right here we have feedback, and if I play it, it's a delay, okay? But this has a buffer, meaning that it has a place to record the audio to, and then I can start repeating the audio and scanning the buffer, very similar to what we had in the Granulator, but the Granulator is an instrument, this is an effect. So I can just play, and let me turn this, put 100% right now. I'm just gonna play, and then I'm gonna hit this freeze button, and we're gonna freeze the buffer, and we're gonna start repeating it, okay? So I'm just gonna play something. Let's say this, okay? Now I froze it, I can move my position to position. I can reverse it. Make it short, like super micro looping. And this is the segment, the length of what we're buffering. Okay? Now what's cool about this is that we can also change the bandwidth, supposedly. So I would start from 10K, and this will change the pitch. This is what very expensive guitar plugins can do. So let's do this again. I'm just going to play. And let's freeze it. Let's make the segment smaller. Maybe back. And then we can... Okay, and what's nice about this is we can make something like this. I made something called Magic Glitch, and let's load this one. And this is exactly what I just showed you, but it's a kind of like an auto-accompaniment of glitching, because I took this Pitch Loop 89, and I took another, what started as a Max for Light device, but now it's built in, which is an LFO. And as you can see, the position is being automatically randomized. The freeze is being randomized. Sometimes it's freezing, sometimes not. And the bandwidth and the backward. So now I can just play. And it's random. But we get those beautiful glitches in the background. And if you play guitar, this is amazing. Okay? And you have to pay like $600 for a guitar pedal that does this. So Pitch Loop 89, do not ignore this. Do not ignore this effect. It's mostly for sound. I use it mostly for sound design, meaning that I do create a new audio track, and I get the audio from the track with the pitch loop, and I just hit record, and I just go crazy. And I resample, essentially resample myself, so that I can use it in all sorts of ways. Okay? So before we even start talking about the third-party stuff, there are so many amazing things in just the stuff, the official stuff that come from Ableton. What's that click? The official stuff that come from Ableton. Let me show you one more thing, and then we move on to the third party. We'll talk about how to install them and stuff. There's so many more awesome stuff here. There's another pack, it's a bit more experimental, called Inspired by Nature. Okay, this is from a developer, Dylan Baston, that worked with Ableton. It's official, you can download it, it's free. It comes with a lot of cool stuff. And I'll show you just a video just to make the point of how awesome it is instead of setting it up here. But it's called Bouncy Notes, and it's essentially kind of like an arpeggiator / MIDI delay where I can play notes here and it will create bouncy balls. Okay, you see that? And it's going to trigger MIDI. Why are we not hearing that? Because it's muted. Okay, here we go. Okay, so. But it's all physics based. So I can add, you see here, gravity. I can add wind, so they're kind of moving. Okay, and let me show you what you can do with that. For example, if you give it a chord progression, and here, let's do this. Here I gave it a simple chord progression, and we're gonna just see. I'm gonna unmute that just at the right places, so we don't have to see just the video while I'm here, and it's also me.
For very
here, well, I'm just playing chords. Here's the chords. Okay. Now I'm going to take that bouncy notes, and you can watch this on my Instagram. We're gonna set it up in a way that the bouncy notes here, where's the bouncy notes? They also have a place to lock it to a scale. Okay, right here. So I'm setting it up in order to add more entrance, kind of an auto-accompaniment effect that we have now built in Ableton thanks to that bouncy notes. So I'm just kind of demonstrating what the bouncy notes can do, and in kind of like 20 seconds, you'll see kind of very easily how you can set it up to just give it chords, and it adds a lot more notes in the key. In this case, it's pentatonic C major, to turn that simple chord progression into something a lot more interesting. So here we're adding some randomization to the direction, so they're moving to other notes, the actual balls. Here's some wind, and now I'm going to go and just make sure that I'm limiting the amount of notes and the scale. So C major pentatonic and how many notes we can play, and I'll show you just the result. Again, just things to explore. They're absolutely amazing.
sweet. Let's check it now. I'll catch you next time.
Okay, bouncy notes, and there's other devices there. These are all built-in stuff, and it's not even done with this. There are other things that I didn't even include, but just encouraging everyone to go and explore, okay? Now, these are the stuff that Ableton commissioned the developers or its in-house developers. And a side note, there's a lot of devices in Ableton that were started as a Max for Live device, like drum bass is a Max for Live device. Echo, it's a Max for Live device. Meld, it started Max for Live. Here I did a video for Ableton about Meld before it was released, and I had a chance to interview Christian Klein. He's one of the main developer in Ableton. And this is what Meld looked before. I don't know if you guys were familiar with Meld, one of the Ableton's built-in synths, but also started as Max. So we can take any device, and right here, right-click, edit in Max. Okay, it's going to actually open up the Max software that we all have on our computer. We can then reverse engineer the device, we can build our own, but we all have this programming language now on our computers. So that kind of opened up kind of exploded, because now every Ableton user can build his own devices. And it went infinite. We have a website, and it's not the only website, called maxforlive.com. Used to be owned privately, but some dude, Cyclist74 bought it, which is owned by Ableton. So now it's kind of an official website for all the Max for Live devices. There's other places. A lot of them are free. Some of them cost money. Some people, it's their job. They're just developing Max for Live devices. So I'll just mention some of them by name. We'll go over the categories. When you download them, it's just a file. It's a file called AMXD file. I would recommend putting it in your user library, so it will transition automatically to the next versions of Live. So for example, if you download something, let's go here, let's say, what's this? I like this thing. This is, it doesn't tell me what it is, so I'll have to look it myself. But sometimes, I'll show you how. But sometimes it just tells you what type of device it is. Is it a MIDI effect? Is it an audio effect? Or is it an instrument? I don't know why these ones it doesn't tell us. But do you guys know how to tell the difference? Let me load here.
I feel like they changed the way you can browse through categories on maxforlive.com. I haven't been able to find an easy way to navigate it since the change that
They do need to make it better. I just want to ask you a general question, because as you can see, there's no Max for Live devices here. Guys, if I don't know these devices, how do I know a device is MIDI? There's 3 categories on Max for Live, although there's also video, but they categorize it 3. MIDI effect, and this is general to Ableton, not only Max. Instrument and audio effect. Just by looking at them, without knowing what they are, is there a way to tell how? Yes? Exactly. So the inputs and outputs of each device. This dotted line, or meter, this is a MIDI meter, so this is a MIDI effect. It's inputs MIDI, outputs MIDI. This is an instrument, inputs MIDI, outputs audio, right? And this is an effect, audio effect, inputs audio, outputs audio. Okay, so I would recommend just knowing the category, although you can make your own custom folders. But for example, when I download something, if it's a MIDI effect, I go to my user library, presets, MIDI effects, and I drop it in under Max MIDI effect. You can create other folders inside of it if you have other categories like sequencers and utilities, stuff like that. Okay?
What happens if you drag it in? I guess I have on the side a Max for Live.
That's fine. It's somewhere on your computer. This is in my user library, so it will automatically transition to other. But if it's there on your computer, it's completely fine. I have a dedicated folder just for video stuff for Max, or stuff that I use for the push that are Max. So absolutely, I use both. Generally, I would recommend in the user library.
You ever ran into an issue? I collect all and save a lot, and then I have like 50 GM audio duckers when I like search for it in my browser.
50 what?
Like a GM audio ducker, like Max Live, let's say, like, so there's just like so many. Is that because
you might, but when you collect all and save,
yeah.
I would recommend maybe not factory packs, and maybe if it's actually on your computer, you don't need user library.
Right. I think that's what I was.
So maybe it's kind of duplicate every time you see you collect on and save. Okay, so you can download a lot of stuff from here. Let me just mention a few things. Maybe we'll see some examples. So sequencers, as we mentioned, awesome stuff. Here, a few of them. Sting 2, I don't know if you guys already heard it. So Sting 2, there's not really a lot of reason of showing it because it's coming, it's a amazing acid line sequencer. You just click on the smiley face and it gives you a lot of patterns. But, and it's also great for percussion, you can use it for a lot of stuff, but it's coming up as a MIDI tool. Where's the Sting? Anyone sees it?
On the stages.
I'm so blind, I don't see. Oh yeah, here you go. Okay, so it's gonna be here, and then you just click on it, gives you a lot of acid bass lines. And also for percussion, just elements. So this is from Iftach. It's gonna be released with 12.3. I think you guys can know this. I'm pretty sure it's fine.
it works really well with the push 3.
With the push, yeah.
Control all the parameters on Sting.
And by the way, there's another one from Iftach coming up with the 12.3, which is for drums. Just gonna give you drum patterns. Okay? And then we're starting to get, I guess you guys had that conversation yesterday with Suno. When are we actually stop making the music? That's a whole another conversation, maybe not for now. But we are reaching an age of curation where we are not necessarily the one. Doesn't matter. Let's stick to the music production. Because it starts to blur the line of like, are we actually making the music? So Sting, check it out, but there's, that MIDI tool is coming in. Here's a cool one just visually. This one, let me load it up. I'm just gonna search for it here.
It's like on the LP1.
It's like the only, yeah. And then we can load an instrument of some, whatever. And then we can maybe even load a scale MIDI effect just so we can keep it in scale. And now we'll go with major pentatonic. And let's put it in scale. So You see, every time I play a note, it creates a point, and just dropping, we can move it around. And whenever it's touching the edges, I can change the shape so they can go out. And let's speed it up also. Okay, so this is borderline generative music because we kind of just let it a shape play. And there's so many other cool ones like this. Here's one called Harp-e-ge-a-to. Let me first actually mention this. This is TriggerTune. This allows us, if you guys ever use contact mics or drum triggers on like an acoustic drum set, this allows us to create a sequence. Is that me? To create a sequence, TriggerTune. And it's already a predetermined melody. But every time I hit a note, doesn't matter which note, it's going to go to the next step in the melody. Okay, so if you buy like a $5 contact mic, you know, those very small microphones you can connect on every surface, you can put it on your table and start tapping on your table and play melodies, okay? Or drums, I did a whole drum set and we set up a lot of different tracks like this, so you can play a whole chords and bass and melodies with just a drum set with just $5 contact mics, okay? TriggerTune. This one, Harp-e-ge-a-to. This is kind of allows you to, this is cool. I'll show you. Harp-e-ge-a-to. So this allows you to hold a chord and then use this sweep to sweep the held notes, okay? And if you set it up, it's very easy to set up. Remember when we played beats on a fader? So you can also play melody, you can shred on a fader.
Or we can shred with a fader.
Okay, that's with the Harp-e-ge-a-to. So quite endless. What you can do with it, it's endless. I won't even, there's a lot more, but you guys can explore yourself. What's the MIDI pawn? The MIDI pawn was cool. Also, you know, those type of things. So endless type of sequencers, check it out yourself. Instruments. If you guys don't want to spend money on plugins, the Ableton, you want to explore some other stuff, there's a lot of commercially played, but also free Max instruments that are absolutely amazing. Here, for example, this one is crazy, this Plaits for Max for Live. If anyone ever went into the modular synthesizer world, oh, not this. This is a free, just a... not this. Wait, what's it called? P4L, yes. P4L. Where is it? P4L. This one. I guess you need the under thing. P. Here we go. So this one, if you ever went to the modular synthesizer world, this is the most popular, this is a clone of the most popular module called Plaits for mutable instruments. And it's absolutely amazing synthesizer that is, as you can see, semi-modular and has a lot of different engines here. You see all these models that are based on the original Plaits, including some speech synthesizer. And it can, where's all the words? Maybe I need to go down. Anyway, it can have some words in it like the old Kraftwerk and stuff, and here you can connect stuff, and it's free. It's crazy. I have a whole workshop just on this because this thing is so amazing, and you can create so many awesome stuff. So a free instrument, again, just to showcase the endless stuff you can do with Max. Here's one more. This is a classic, old school one called. Oh, you know this one? This is for claps. You decide how accurate they are, the pitch, how many people are clapping. But it's all free stuff. You just gotta. I'm kind of encouraging you to not to spend money on plugins. There's so much free stuff out there that you can explore. This one I like. I just found this MIDI frame. You guys know this one? MIDI frame. Well, I don't have it. because I just downloaded it, so it's still in my downloads folder. I didn't move it, but is it? MIDI frame macro. So if you guys remember or know the old school kind of chiptune music, the synthesizers had kind of this frame of window that they were changing the pitch extremely fast. So in this one, I can map it to the pitch of a synthesizer. Let me go up. Let me make it a bit more plucky. Maybe sound like this. And then I can, let's maybe go. So it's just changing the pitch extremely fast. Okay, which is super cool. MIDI frame macro. It's free. It's all free, guys. It's all free. Here's one called Cassette. That's a classic. That's an old school one. But just all sorts of ways of degrading the audio, emulating an old cassette tape, including this. Yes. We can remove the harm. We can remove the noise. Just have the pitch fluctuation. Let's turn this off and play. Let's turn this down. Let's go down and turn this down. And maybe some more kind of flatter. Okay, that's too crap. But crap cassette. I use it all the time for some stuff. There's a legendary plugin called GranularCrusher. Skrillex uses it on his master track all the time. So there is a free emulation of just the crushing section. Let me turn off the crap cassette. And it's one-to-one called LifeCrusher, all free. Okay, GranularCrusher plugin. These right here, all the J stuff, and I would just recommend going to that person. Just go on this page and just click on the developer name, and he has amazing hardware clones from the legendary Biphase. It's a phaser, legendary phaser, a Leslie cabinet. It's kind of like these two speakers that rotate, spring reverbs, the delay pedals, legendary, another phaser here, the 90, chorus from Juno, okay, all free. That's absolutely amazing. Okay, so that's the audio effects. Let's mention a few utilities, and we'll see if we want to check them out. I'll just mention a few of them. Here, oh, you know what? Let's check this one out. There's a website called RadioGarden. You guys know RadioGarden? It's just like an online radio station where you have this kind of this interface of the Earth, and you can go around and click on different radio stations around the world. No, that's another one from different eras around the world, okay, which is also super cool, and I'm assuming someone will make it. But this is a free port of RadioGarden directly inside Ableton Live. So here I can zoom out. These are all the radio stations, most of the radio stations around the world.
So the audio is going to go straight into Ableton.
It's going straight into Ableton. So I can go, let's say here, I don't know what this is. We'll give it a second because it's probably need. Okay, now I want to sample it directly in Ableton. I'm going to open up a new audio track, set it to wherever the RadioGarden is, and just record that. Okay. And then I go to a different station. I don't know what's going on there. And just sample as much as I want. Legal? I don't know. Cool? Absolutely. Okay. Is that us? I think that's us. I was about to.
It's already released.
If you wanna drive a big limousine.
Okay, RadioGarden, all free. Modulation sequencer we don't have in Ableton Live. Here's a free one. Okay, it just allows us to kind of have a step sequencer to change parameters, filter, whatever you want, reverb amount, lights in the room, whatever it is. I did forget to mention, maybe we'll check it out with the video stuff, but if you ever go to a museum and there's like an audio-visual interactive installation, you go, there's lights, there's motion, there's stuff, Max is probably in the background, okay? So if anyone's interested in that world, knowing Max and Max for Live can help a lot. I just did, if anyone ever went downtown, there's the Grammy Museum. And they have installations there, music installations. It's all Max in the background. We just did a lecture there a couple of weeks ago. MIDI quantize, if you want to quantize in real time. You're playing real time, you want to quantize it in real time, MIDI quantize. Super cool. Chiastic, I think it's called Chiastic Slide. We just have the developer Zach on every Sunday I teach an online class. We just had them talk about Chiastic Slide is crazy. It's crazy. Let me show you what Chiastic Slide does. You can take, look at this. You can take a bunch of tracks or chains. And this is the device right here. You see this? And right here I have a lot of different loops. And then it just morphs between all those loops. There's more Botanica stuff, if you guys know that style. It's a very modern ambient music style because it's kind of ambient mixed with glitch and this kind of craziness of kind of collage of sounds, Botanica. It's super cool. It's kind of like, what? Chiastic or Chiastic Slide. Free. And it's not only for tracks, it's also for chains. If anyone, you load in a bunch of similar instruments, you just put it before or after your rack, and you have this, you just use this direction to morph between different sounds or different effects. Okay, so it's for racks and for groups. Crazy stuff. Okay, some other stuff. If anyone has an iPhone, there's a free app. It's free. That turns your iPhone into a gesture controller. So XY pad, or you can go like this, and it's free. A0 Jest. I'll share the PDF with you, but it's just you'll have to, nothing is named, so you just have to click on it and see what's up. Okay, if anyone ever have a bunch of audio clips and they need to bounce them, this is a batch exporter for clips. So you just click on it and it goes automatically one by one and export your clips, if anyone needs that. That's on GitHub. You can find that on maxforlive.com. Okay. And there's so many. We're not going to even go into the crazy stuff. Before I'm done, I just want to mention video. Okay? You know what? I'll just mention a side note about my devices. I'm not a Max for Live developer, but I release Max for Live devices. I kind of know my way around for the basic stuff. For example, this thing. I'll show you what it is. This, I have a whole video about momentary effects. And I needed a way to synchronize the attack time of this to my BPM. So I was able to build a Max for Live device that you just load right before it. Oh, load right before it. Oh, I think after it. Is it? No, before it. Here you go. You see? And it locks itself to the attack, and it just synchronizes it to whatever BPM you're on. This is more for momentary effects triggering. So I was able to build it because I know kind of about Max, because Max, if you open it up, you can right-click on each object and it gives you kind of a patch teaching you what each object does. The problem is there's thousands of objects, so that's why it's a language. So I was able to build a few devices, but I must say that, and some of them are with collaboration with other people, but some of them, I must say, that I just went on chat, like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek. I kind of went between them and was able to build devices using JavaScript that I would never be able to build, thanks to what they call vibe coding. So I would recommend exploring that route if you have the patience of dealing with chatbots, because they can be very frustrating at times, because when they create a problem, they don't solve it. They make a bigger problem. So my method is start with one. Let's say ChatGPT, tell him I want to do this, this, and this. He gives you code. You test it. Something's not working. You tell it it's not working. If he creates a bigger problem, I go to Claude. It's a different. I tell him, hey, I have this and this, until he creates a problem. Back and forth to the point where I created, some really awesome stuff. If anyone have the push, I have this amazing sequencer for the push. I'll show you. I don't know if anyone here have the push. Yeah. Check this. So this is an old sequencer from the Monome. Monome is the predecessor of all the grid controllers.
Yo, what's up? I'm very excited.
So
so here function is going to give me the bass. Each column,
what's happening.
drum
Can we?
default preset, 1,
But you see what's happening?
We can turn on
I created a sequencer where it just kind of like raindrops. So each column is a different note.
I think I remember you saying that somebody needs to build that, so well done.
Thank you. And that's exactly what happened. I was one day, it's like, why is no one, gotta be a way. It took me months, but I did it, okay? It's possible, yes. And I sell it, okay? Another example of, I would never be able to do, this is free. I would never be able to do this without all the vibe coding. There is a thing called live loop cutting. It's an old, from the mono, it's an old technique that I wish they bring back. It's the most fun stuff ever that allows you to, let me maybe go here. I'll show you here, just 1 second. It allows you to take loops, put them on a grid controller. It doesn't have to be the push, any grid controller. Is that it? No, that's another thing. Here, maybe this. This is on the push, but it doesn't have to be on the push. And you see what's happening? The loop it goes from left to right, and I'm able to cut the loop in real time. And these are just effects on the momentary effects we just mentioned. So it's a loop, but I'm able to jump and slice the loop in real time and record my live loop cutting. And I wish they bring back this, I'm trying to, but I wish they bring back this technique, and it's so much fun. Okay, so I recorded my live loop cutting. And it's just effects. Okay, and this is a free Max for Live device you can get. Okay, it's called MLR Live. Okay,
Does it work in the standalone push 3?
I need to. No, this one is not done. This was a work in progress. The MLR Live that you don't need push, any controller will work, is a free device. So I'm not sure it works on push standalone. Anyway, a lot of other devices that I built, I just encourage you guys as a non-programmer, non-Max for Live developer, you can hack your way into it. This one is super popular. Thousands of people bought this. And this allows you to take PlayStation and Xbox, thousands of modern game controllers and turn them into video game controllers.
Excuse me, what are you listening to?
Something that
I'm listening to NTS.
Yo, what's up? This a performance have effect. You have effects.
Okay, and you can map it however you want, and another device. So you can build your own stuff. You can get them. I have 2 free devices on my website that you can get. Now, just before we're done, I want to mention the video side of Max. And you can download some free devices. I just found this whole package of video called PXStream on GitHub. It's free. You can download it. Now, this allows us to create all sorts. It's endless. As much as music is endless, the video side has so many more layers. It's insane how much more endless it is. But just to show you, for example, wait, where's the Fruity Dancer? You guys, anyone ever use Fruity Loops? They have this tiny character. Where?
You just had it pulled up, actually, in that other folder you were in.
Oh, I did? You saw it? Thank you. I can't see shit. Here we go. Okay. This is the most stupid example, but example of the video side of Max. So I can open this. I can, where is it? Set position. So she's just there. And now I can play this, and I can also make her dance. What's the dance? Here, not waiting. Let's jumping. Here, with the... Are you jumping? Let's make it a bit faster. Nice. And then, of course, you can maybe let's take a LFO, not performer. Let's take an LFO. And we'll map the LFO to the dancing, all the dancing moves. And we'll make it random. And we'll synchronize it every 1 bar. Every 1 bar, change the... Let's speed it up. Okay, it's super dumb. But maybe it will encourage you, kind of like to vibe. Someone's vibing with you in the studio. But that's whatever. That's whatever. I'm talking about a full-on VJ set that you can control. It can be controlled by the music, or buy another collaborator with MIDI controllers, and there are commercial packages, for example, Video Sync, which is amazing, but it costs like $250. It's made by some Ableton employees, amazing. Another one is Ebo Suite, which is incredible, but I just found a free one that is a work in progress, but it still works amazing. It's called PXStream. So where is it? PXStream. So here I'm going to go devices, and first I'm going to load a world, okay? And then I'm going to load a mix view. You see it comes with a lot of devices. Wait, I need both of them. And then here you have a lot of ways of, here, cam. Let's say camera, or there's other. You don't have to do a camera, but let's do a cam. Can I choose this? And I'm going to send it to number 1. And I don't know why it's flapped upside down, but there's a bunch of effects here, right? Let's do kaleidoscope. And kaleidoscope, we're going to go here and this, right? And then we have, so I have this effect here, or you know what, let's do, where's the bloom? There was bloom, I forget where it was. Or we don't even have to do cam. Let me just show you something else. Instead of cam, there are things called shaders, which are just a lot of different code for different visuals. Where's the shader? Let me make everything bigger, just a second. Command plus, if anyone wants that. Not mini shader, there's another one, just shader, I think. Here we go. So if I load that, although mini shader also works, let's delete that for now. Let's go 1. Let's open this up, okay? And here we have, you see this, we have all these parameters for each visual, and there's a lot of them, and you can download endless also online. So anything, and this is true for any parameter in Ableton, I can make it audio-reactive. How? How do we make stuff reactive to audio? Envelope follower. One of them, yes, let's do that. First, let me load just a drum loop here. Maybe something like this. I'll go, yeah, let's do that. And I'm going to take this. That's too fast. Why? Because we're in, let's do 125. And this will change to this, and we'll duplicate that. And then we'll take envelope follower under modulators, and this will create a shape according to the volume of the drums. Okay, and we don't even have to put it on the drums. Let's put it right next to our video stuff. And of course, I can map this to MIDI controllers if I want to control it live, but we can also make it audio reactive. Let's listen to our drums. Here it is, mix, and map this, let's say, to the radios. And let's also maybe make it a tiny bit more soft, kind of attack release. And then I can add effects, maybe have it react to vocals or the bass, or I can have the envelope follower inside a rack and have it just the low frequencies with an EQ. It's endless, okay? It's endless. But what's nice about it is that up until now, these full video packages cost a lot of money, the Ebo Suite and the Video Sync. So just a couple of days ago, I found this awesome PXStream. If you go, I gave you the link, PXStream. It's on GitHub, and you'll see here it says it's a work in progress, but from whatever I checked, it works great. Okay, so you guys can test it out. Obviously, do a lot of tests before you go on stage with it. I can tell you if you're looking for something more stable, Video Sync is amazing, and also Ebo Suite. And it doesn't end here. It goes beyond this. You can do video drum racks. Okay, so maybe short videos getting triggered with each pad. And it's quite endless, the stuff you can do with video in Ableton. You don't even have to go outside the software if your laptop or computer is strong enough. Okay, you definitely need a strong computer to do both music and video or separate them. Sweet, questions?
How would you do the video drum rack?
Video drum rack? Let me just show a video. It's the same here. We just need a video simpler. But I just did an official sponsored video for Video Sync. So I will show you just a section of there. Here we go. So all these video packages
Tony, what's going on?
Have a video.
Tell me you found that cube.
Like simpler for audio, but for video. So you take a drum rack, you put
you got
your
me
audio. I'll show you in a second. Yo, what's up? Today we're going to check out how
track. You see that one
video sampler.
disappeared
I'm just,
because
using a
this.
sampler here.
Come on.
And then I'm
It
putting
also
in a drum rack. Just 1 second.
it's unmute and this cool stuff in a second. Actually, let's
Here we
let
go.
me mute
So here I
the
have
videos.
a drum rack that I have just samples on it. I'm playing a beat. And then I layer it with a video sampler on each pad. I use another effect called transform to position each video in a different place on the video.
I will show you them
Which, by the way, I can put it on a big projector. I can record it. All of
in
that.
just a
And I'll show you
second.
just the result.
That we I hear the drums. Here it is.
Right?
Take hold of the okay, look what who go
Just to see the
hats
result.
it at 808 bass note trigger.
It's Sidebrain.
Oh, this MIDI like And this video I just took from YouTube, some animation, playing drums, and cut it up, and just took pieces of it. So you can do a lot of cool stuff. You don't even have to take it on stage. Even if you just make content online, you can do a lot of cool stuff with Ableton, just built in. Everything built in thanks to Max for Live. Okay? I know it's kind of like, whoa, so much. It's just to show you the potential of the endless capabilities of Max for Live. And just to wrap things up, just like every revolutionary thing Ableton did in the audio software world, starting from the non-linear timeline of the session, non-linear timeline of the session view, the real-time time stretching with the warp engine, all of this stuff were emulated or trying to be emulated by other softwares. And there's no way a software these days, I'm talking DAWs like Pro Tools, Logic, Bitwig, they don't have real-time time stretching. They all call it flex time, whatever, they have their own name. It all came thanks to Ableton. Same thing with Max for Live. We can see it now in other softwares, want to give the power to the users to build their own stuff with JavaScript with Logic, the grid with Bitwig, the patcher in FL Studio. So there's a lot, what I like, it's a lot of innovation that inspires other companies in growing this world of DAWs, of these music softwares. And of course, there's other softwares also made some other revolutionary things, but that's what Ableton contributed with to the music production world. Okay? Questions? Amazing. I will send the PDF. Thank you so much, guys.